Best scenes of The Undertow, written by Louisa C. Cossey. First reading. Exterior yacht, ocean off the coast of Ireland, 1990s, dusk. Azure sky, open sea, no clouds, no wind. A foggy blue line separates ocean from sky. One boat breaks the horizon line. A 36-foot hull rocks smoothly back and forth. Gulls fly overhead. We hear a loud cull as a white and blue sail fills with wind. Close-up of the spinnaker's triangular design. The boat's sails blur as a 36-foot wooden sloop comes closer into view. A young teenage girl, Soairse, 14, carefully walks along the deck of the wooden boat. Her green eyes light up as she scans the horizon. Bill, Soairse's father, a tall, athletic man in his 40s, walks up to his daughter. He patiently shows her how to fold sails. They work peacefully. Bill shows Soairse how to tie the sail sheet in knots. Bill smiles at his daughter.
Thanks, Skipper.
Nautical flags fill the frame. An Irish flag at the top of a row of smaller flags, and the verdant green coastline tells us we are in Ireland. Bill looks back towards the stern at his wife. He tries to get her attention by waving a hand. Tara, 30s, a wispy brunette with a dancer's poise, sits studying a weathered book with total concentration. Tara looks out to sea before Bill catches her eye. Bill shakes his head, bemused. Soairse watches everything. Exterior, meridian, dawn. Bill and Tara sleep in the cabin. Soairse is curled up in her side bunk. Tara turns, tossing in her sleep. Close on Soairse, awake. Her books, journals, and pens lie scattered around her. Stealthily, Soairse climbs out of bed, careful not to wake her parents. Exterior, meridian's deck, dawn. The sailboat is moored in a still Irish inlet. The water is a glassy teal. A tangerine line crawls across the horizon line. Soairse sits on the bow of the boat, cradling a journal in her lap. Soairse turns a page and starts to work on a half-written poem. We catch glimpses of sentences. Insert. Soairse's scribbled words. Where do you go when you're still with us, but your mind is miles away? How can we lift the sails to catch your wind, find your current, catch a ray? Interior, meridian, early morning. Bill and Tara continue to sleep soundly in the cabin. Tara turns, tossing in her sleep. Her movement rouses Bill. Tara moans quietly, then shakes in her sleep. She opens her eyes wide.
Are you okay?
Tara nods.
Yeah, weird dream.
Seemed like a good one.
Tara rolls out of bed, still groggy from her dream. Bill reaches his hand out for his wife.
I'll make us coffee.
We could just cuddle for a minute.
Soairse's just on the deck. I want to get a start on wrapping her gifts.
Bill grunts. Frustrated, he gets up.
Can't be the maps then.
Tara picks up the maps of the Irish coastline and passes them to Bill.
Oh, she's so excited, Bill. I thought you wanted to get a whole day of sailing in before we go home.
Bill looks at the map and starts to chart a course. Exterior meridian bow. Early morning. A shadow extends over Soairse. Bill pats his daughter on the shoulder and crouches down beside her.
You ready for your first day of sailing?
Yeah, Dad, of course.
Bill smiles.
I thought we could go over plotting courses today.
Soairse nods eagerly. Exterior, meridian, morning. Bill climbs on deck, double-checks the ties on the sails. Tara absent-mindedly balances the tiller on her leg while she reads. We catch the title, The Handmaid's Tale. Bill tunes to a radio station. There is only static. Tara passes Bill the tiller.
Mind if I read below?
Okay.
Disappointment clouds Bill's features. Insert. Ship's instruments. Doppler. A swirl of wind arrows on the small screen show a storm as it makes its way towards the blue dot of meridian on the screen. Exterior meridian, deck, day. Soairse and Bill study a map intently. Bill uses a sextant and draws diagrams to explain navigation. Soairse listens, concentrating deeply. A signal beeps from the Doppler. Bill looks up at the screen of the Doppler. Alarmed, Bill pats the map next to Soairse. He gestures to markers on the map.
You see this? Keeps us due north. Try to steer 10 degrees right for the buoy. Do you understand?
Soairse nods, her focus clear. Tara peeks out and climbs out on deck.
Ready to celebrate, Soairse?
Soairse smiles. Bill shakes his head, clearly concerned.
I'm sorry, we have weather.
Bill motions to Tara.
Take the tiller from Soairse. She's never done this before.
Bill scurries up deck. He ties down the main sheets urgently. Waves start to pile on the horizon. Bill's movements accelerate. Soairse balances in the deck. She pretends to ride a wave. Close on Soairse, eyes wide with wonder as the storm approaches. Soairse spots a large ocean buoy right in the boat's path. Tara sits rigid, steering straight at the 30-foot buoy.
Da?
Bill glances back to the stern. Tara stares straight ahead, white with fear, frozen. The boat heads straight for the buoy.
Tara!
Tara doesn't respond. Bill runs to the cockpit. Bill takes the tiller and holds it steady. Tara hugs herself tightly, her knuckles white with fear. The trade winds take the hull and hurl it mercilessly at a 10-foot wave. Soairse almost falls over. She recovers and rides out the impact on her feet. Bill lets the main sheet slack and ducks under the boom. The boom swings wide. Bill pulls Soairse close and motions for Tara to get down as the boom swings by, narrowly missing them. A blur of ocean and mast fill frame. Soairse looks up at her father.
Soairse, come here. We'll hold this together.
Tara starts to shake. Bill throws her a blanket.
Jesus, Tara, take care of yourself.
Saoirse looks at Bill, courage in her eyes.
I can do this, Dad.
Bill helps his daughter steady the course. Bill pulls in the sails with all his force as gusts sweep the deck. Interior cabin, minutes later. Bill ducks back into the cabin.
Saoirse's holding the tiller herself. I need you up here now.
Tara looks up at her husband.
I can't.
Bill looks at Tara in disbelief. Tara looks straight ahead, rigid with fear. Bill stands over her, powerless. He climbs back up to the deck and motions to Saoirse.
See? Take the slack line, this one. Hold this.
Bill hands Saoirse the sheets. The boat sways unsteadily. Doppler. The storm passes the boat. The winds start to subside.
We're on the wayward now. Wind's about to settle some. I'm going to switch the sails over.
Bill skillfully switches the sails over. The waves calm down. Bill looks at his daughter, relief and exhaustion washing over him.
We did it, Dad.
From Saoirse's point of view, we see Tara down below in the bunk, still shaky. Exterior, eastern coastline, day. Our view of the 34-foot sailboat becomes smaller and smaller as the deep blue waves start to fill the frame. Aquamarine hues shift to deep lapis as constellations start to fill the inky water. Exterior, southwest coast of Ireland, day, hours later. Fields of green pass outside the car window. Bill and Tara sit up front. Silent tension fills the air. Unopened presents are piled next to Saoirse. Saoirse's point of view as she reaches outside and lets her hand undulate in the breeze. A starling mirrors Saoirse's hand as it surfs the wind. The starling pulls back and joins a large murmuration. Second reading. Interior cottage, kitchen, evening. Saoirse puts the kettle on and tunes the radio to a local station. Saoirse tidies her hair in the reflection from the window, nervously playing with the strands. Tara walks in and stops to look at Saoirse.
I just thought we could have a chat.
Tara sits by the table.
I know all the studying for my exams has been tough. The time away. If I want to be a counsellor, I have to really focus.
It's not that.
Saoirse places the pot on the table and holds her cup in her hand. She leans by the fireplace.
What's bothering you?
Saoirse fidgets with the figurine on the mantelpiece.
Mom, honestly, what's going on with you and Ellen?
Tara stands and closely looks at her daughter. Saoirse starts to tear up.
She's a close friend.
Saoirse takes a deep breath.
I'm not stupid. I can see what's going on.
Come on, sit with me.
Saoirse finally sits down, focusing on her hands.
I don't know how to talk to you about this.
Saoirse looks straight ahead, a steel edge to her gaze. The door opens. Tara jumps. Bill walks in and hangs up his tool belt.
It's a little early for dinner, no?
Saoirse stands and leaves the kitchen, avoiding eye contact as she walks past her father and upstairs to her room.
What, do I smell that bad?
Bill turns to Tara and waits for Saoirse to pass by. Interior, Saoirse's bedroom, minutes later. Saoirse collapses on her bed, tears stream down her face. Sounds of fighting from downstairs. Saoirse kneels on the floor, she pulls back the carpet and spies on her parents through the floorboards. Interior kitchen, night. Tara stands back, a look of concern on her face.
What did you say to her?
Bill, we haven't been connected in a long time.
We're married. Couples can go a while.
I'm just starting to find myself here.
Bill walks closer to Tara and tries to hold her. Tara looks closely at her husband.
You already know who you are. Now that Soairse is older, I'm finally getting time by myself to figure out who I am.
What are you talking about?
Remember that job I was thinking of taking? Well, one opened up in Galway.
You can't be serious.
Bill, you know I haven't been happy for a while.
It's those women. They're pulling us apart.
Bill sighs. Tara shakes her head. Defeated, she puts her head in her hands.
Saoirse won't understand any of this.
I can't do this anymore. I can't.
Bill shakes his head and turns to look at the portrait of the small family next to their sailboat on the mantel. He picks it up and holds it close. Tara watches him in silence. Bill walks to the door. He pauses, turns to the stairs.
You can't just take her from me. This isn't fair.
Interiors, Saoirse's room, night. Saoirse pulls back from the view in the kitchen. She cries quietly, pulling her rug over the slats in the floor to cover the view of the kitchen below. Third reading. Exterior, Ogonish Island, evening. Saoirse and Katie walk down to the beach. The girls are dressed in outrageous outfits, brightly colored tights and fancy dress. The girls take turns reading from a weathered copy of Merchant of Venice.
You be Antonio.
Katie hands the weathered play to Saoirse.
In sooth, I know not why I'm so sad.
Katie laughs and takes the play. She leaves through the pages as they walk down the country road to the sea, the moon lighting the path.
I'm Jessica, okay?
Katie piles her hair on her head and theatrically recites the quotes.
But love is blind and lovers cannot see the pretty follies that themselves commit.
Saoirse doubles over as Katie overacts the part. The coast stretches out before them. Rocks give way to a motionless sea. The girls sit on a perch on the causeway rocks. Katie rolls a cigarette. She hands one to Saoirse and lights it for her friend. Katie leans in close. The light flickers on Saoirse's reflection. Katie's gaze lingers on Saoirse's bare neck. Saoirse looks back at Katie innocently. Katie looks down, bashful.
Is it weird, having two mums?
Ellen is not my mum,
I think she's cool.
I guess. I just wish they'd tone it down a bit. You're the only one that knows.
At least she's got someone nice.
Saoirse looks confused.
Sometimes we don't get to choose who we fall in love with.
Katie smiles at Saoirse pointedly.
It's illegal here, Katie, to be gay. So don't tell anyone. It would make my life hell.
I know of that. Of course I won't.
Saoirse stands and tosses her Raleigh on the sand.
I'm going in. Coming.
No way, it's freezing.
Saoirse strips to her underwear and rushes into the water. Katie watches Saoirse. She laughs and shakes her head.
You're mad.
Phosphorescence slowly brightens the water as Saoirse leaps into the sea. Saoirse takes a deep breath and dives underwater. The stars mingle with tiny gold flashes of phosphorescence. The lights dance around the abstracted shape of Saoirse's body in the dark green water. Katie watches the water. She walks towards the bay, scanning the water. Saoirse dives up, a huge smile on her face.
Whoa, you were under for ages.
Come in.
No way. Jesus, you scared me.
Saoirse laughs and dives back underwater, in her element. Fourth reading. Exterior, Kinvara town, night. Tara exits the pub with Helen. She glances back at the pier, looking for Saoirse. Tara pulls Helen close, kissing her passionately. Helen pulls back, looking around, confused at Tara's display.
I'm so sick of hiding.
Tara squeezes Helen's hand. From behind the pier wall, we see the outline of Saoirse, Katie, and Sean's watching in the dusk. Exterior, Kinvara Pier, night. Saoirse, Sean, and Katie duck down behind the pier wall. The rest of the team stand a few feet around near the pier around a bonfire in various stages of drunken debauchery. Saoirse stays frozen behind the wall, breathless. Katie hops up and turns towards Saoirse.
There's no way they saw us.
Sean stands up slowly and paces uncomfortably. Sean and Saoirse exchange an awkward look.
So, your mom and that woman?
Saoirse stands up and looks Sean in the eye.
You can't tell anyone, please.
Saoirse desperately starts to fidget. Katie watches Saoirse and Sean closely. Sean looks at Katie and Saoirse, then looks away.
What?
Sean starts to stutter.
Can't believe it. So you are too then?
Katie looks at Saoirse. Saoirse shakes her head no, frustrated.
No, you idiot. It's not like being gay is hereditary.
Katie rolls her eyes. She looks pissed. Relief fills Soairse's features.
Shit. I didn't know she worked at that center.
So what? What does it matter?
Katie looks closer at Sean. She steps aggressively towards him.
Yeah, what is it?
Katie looks closely at Sean as he paces nervously.
Wait, you weren't messed up with that crew that vandalized the place, were you?
Soairse looks shocked.
Of course he wasn't. I told you not to tell anyone about that.
Dad said it was fellas from our school.
Sean looks at his feet.
I didn't know you then.
Soairse turns to Sean, shock registering on her face.
You're messing me. They wrecked the outside of the place.
Sean looks at Soairse, desperate.
I tried to stop them. I'm so sorry.
Soairse looks at Sean, confused. He looks at her closely.
Unbelievable.
Katie walks ahead towards the rest of the team who stand around a bonfire on the beach.
Please, give me a chance. I'm not like them. I promise I won't tell.
Soairse walks ahead.
Soairse.
Soairse turns to Sean, angry.
Do you have any idea how hard it is to be new here? Never mind trying not to have anyone know.
I'm sorry.
Soairse stares at him hard.
You're like everyone else. Anything different freaks you out.
Sean reaches for Soairse.
That's not true.
Prove it.
Soairse walks ahead to catch up to Katie. Exterior, Kinvara Pier, night. The team all sit around a bonfire. Katie warms her hands by the fire. Sean hands her a can of Bulmers. Soairse takes a long drink, then stands and goes over to talk to Katie.
You don't think he'll tell anyone?
No. I told you what he was like, though. I can't believe you're still talking to him.
Katie starts to walk away.
Katie!
What?
The other night, you know that was just experimenting. That's all.
I know that's what it was for you.
Katie walks away down to the water's edge. Soairse looks out at the dark water, confused.
I'm going swimming.
Soairse turns, walking to the water. Soairse takes a deep breath and strips to her underwear. Sean hurries to catch up. He runs into the water. Katie catches up to Soairse. In the privacy of the dark water, Katie dips below, grabbing Soairse's hand. Sean surfaces next to them and looks around. Soairse finally comes up. Sean's arm grazes Soairse's breast. She wraps her legs tightly around him. He kisses her deeply. Katie watches them for a moment. Turning quickly, she swims back to the beach. Exterior, Kinvara Bay, midnight. The crew huddle around a small fire on the beach. Katie has a jacket wrapped over her shoulders. A bottle is passed around. A small silhouette of a full moon lights up the night sky. Sean sits next to Soairse, his arm and jacket draped around her. He raises his can.
To our fearless new sailor.
The team cheers.
Let's go out right now.
I think that's a brilliant idea. Let's show off our winning vessel.
I don't think this is a good idea.
Sean's already halfway down the beach to the rowboats.
No? But it's fun. Come on.
The other members of the team start to cajole Katie. Katie stands, looking up at the boathouse, where the party continues. Reluctantly, she follows the group towards the water. Exterior, rowboat, night. The team piles tightly into the tiny rowboat. Sean and another young man row together. The dinghy is close to capsizing under the weight of the team. The rowboat reaches the boat. Sean helps his team on board, visibly inebriated. Sean starts singing. The crew join in. Soairse stands next to Katie. The other teenagers start roughhousing around. Katie goes up to the bow and starts to untie the boat from its mooring. Soairse walks up to Sean. She doesn't see Katie amongst the crowd.
Where's Katie?
Soairse runs up to the bow. Katie sits on the bow in the shadow.
What are you doing?
Katie reaches for Soairse. She tries to embrace her. Soairse roughly pushes her back, harder than she means to. Katie lets out a scream as she trips and falls over the side of the boat into the dark bay. Sean runs up to the front of the boat, followed by the rest of the crew.
What happened?
Soairse stutters. Sean jumps in the water. The force of his jump causes the boat to free of its mooring. It begins to drift away from Sean and Katie. Sean swims towards Katie, waving his arms. He grabs a hold of her and struggles to keep her afloat in the water.
Katie!
A long silence. The sound of waves thrashing against the boat. The sailboat is carried quickly into the current. Screams erupt from the team as the boat drifts faster away from shore. We hear a crash as the hull smashes up against rocks, capsizing. It throws the crew overboard. Soairse is thrown into the sea. Dark, inky water fills the frame. Soairse struggles to stay above the waves. Figures in the distance thrash in the sea. Soairse swims to the surface and looks around. Soairse spots a crewmate struggling and swims towards them. She grabs the figure and swims toward a floating piece of the hull. Soairse calls into the dark night.
Katie! Sean!
Silence. We can make out the white arms of young people waving in the frigid water, fractured light through waves. Rescue lights finally appear on the horizon.